Hey guys, Brent here. I've just returned from the small island chain of Tonga in the South Pacific, and in this video I want to talk about the freedom of no choice. Hope you don't mind, it's a bit sunny out today. I'm going to put my sunnies on. So what am I talking about, the freedom of no choice or the freedom of little choice? Well, let me tell you the story. Just returned a day or two ago from Tonga, which is a small island chain in the middle of the South Pacific. Just beautiful. I was there photographing whales underwater. And when I jumped onto the boat going out to photograph the whales, I had a look around, and the other photographers had all these underwater housings, you know, to keep your camera protected when you're underwater. And their housings they just look amazing. Really big, black, with buttons everywhere and all sorts of controls. And when I looked at my water housing and I told them about my water housing, they kind of laughed at me or chuckled, but in a good way, not in a bad way. Why? Because my water housing is old. It's over 10 years old, and it was designed for a previous model of camera. So it was designed for the 5D Mark I. I've now got the 5D Mark III in here, and it doesn't quite fit. So here it is. I'll just take the port protection off. So here it is in the water housing. So you can see the water housing protects the camera inside there. It's got an O-ring that goes all the way around. Once it's inside, all these little buttons, controls, none of them actually line up to the buttons on my camera inside there. So I can't actually control anything. Once the camera's in here, I can't control anything. I can't control the shutter speed, I can't control the aperture, I can't actually review any images on the back of this camera because, well, the little play button doesn't line up over there. So I can't actually see what I've taken after I've taken the image. The only thing I can do is I can press the shutter release button that's over here, and I can shoot. So I've got to pre-set my camera to the settings that I think I'm going to need, and then that's all I can do. But it gives you the certain amount of freedom, because when you're underwater and you've got whales going past you, and they're big whales, 40 tons, the mothers are, the babies are a little bit smaller, you don't have to think about the camera settings. All you have to think about is how you're going to get close to this whale, how you're going to compose your image, what you're going to include, what you're not going to include, and then just fire away, shoot it. So it gives you a certain amount of freedom, because you've got no choice. You've got no, there's nothing you can kind of control. So that's what this video is all about, the freedom of no choice, or the freedom of little choice. And what did it look like? What did I come away with because I had no choice? Well, check out this image that I photographed of a baby humpback coming up towards me, checking me out, wanting to play. Just an amazing experience. And I've also got another example of an image I took, not with the water housing, but just with my mirrorless camera when I went to an island called Ofu, O-F-U, in the Vava'u chain of islands in Tonga. Have a look here. I just set my camera to a aperture priority mode of f2.8, wide open aperture, and I photographed these people going to a church. So I didn't have to think about anything else. I just had to compose the image, photograph it, and here it is. What do you think? So the action step for you guys, if you're watching this video and you want to test this out, is to preset your camera to what you're going to photograph. So let's just say you on holiday like I was, or you're photographing traveling, or even photographing kids or portraits. Set your camera to aperture priority mode, wide open aperture. So if your aperture is, the biggest your aperture can go is like f2.8 or f4 or f5.6, photograph at that aperture priority mode, wide open aperture, and then leave everything else in order. Shoot that, see what happens. You have this amazing freedom because you don't have to think about your settings anymore. You can actually think about the composition. Are there leading lines? How am I photographing these people? You can actually even interact with the people that you're photographing, because you don't have to spend energy thinking about your camera anymore. So you can actually talk to people, smile at them, get to know them, and then photograph them. If you're photographing landscapes, go aperture priority mode and shut down your aperture to like f16 or f20 or f22 and photograph like that with everything else in order. Then focus on composition and look for where the light is, change your angle, change your height, go up or lower, and you'll have this amazing freedom, and you'll enjoy your photography even more, because now you really are focused on what you're photographing. So test it out, guys, test it out. Hope you're enjoying these vlogs, these just little stories I've got to tell. I'm trying to be, authentic and real with you guys. Please leave me comments below. I'd love to know what you think. This is Brent. Have an awesome day.